Coach, Ace is looking for their first finals Game 3 win in franchise history. Why is tonight different?
Well, I don't know if it will be. That's the challenge. It's very hard to beat a team 3 times in a row any time in the season. Not only that, you have a heightened emotional advantage if you're Phoenix right now, because they're a very pissed off locker room, I assume, and I have a good one. You know, I wouldn't say they're happy. I wouldn't say they're content, but it's just a lot of emotion, and there's desperation on the other side, and that's always hard to match up with just emotionally. So I hope we're emotionally there and mentally there. That certainly is the goal. So yeah, I hope tonight's different. I hope we've learned.
Coach, Coach, front to the left.
Coach, it's Aya Abdeen for the 9450. What have you seen from the reserve guards throughout the first 2 games tonight, and what do you expect from them as well heading into Game 3?
Obviously, they were huge in Game 1 for us. I actually thought defensively in Game 2, they really, when Jewel got in, she really started mixing it up for us on the defensive end of the ball. So they've impacted both games, whether that's on the offensive end or the defensive end, and I expect more of the same. I tell them all the time, all I needed to do is be exactly who you've been being. And they've been really good off the bench for us.
Coach, to your right in the second row.
Hey, Becky.
Hi, Ben.
You guys had shoot around ahead of Game 1 with a 5 o'clock tip, and I was just wondering why today with a 5 o'clock tip you guys elected not to, and if you did anything different preparation-wise as a
I
result.
don't know. I think we're like staying out in Scottsdale or something. It's a long ride.
Anyone else? Coach, once again on the left, third row.
Coach, Chelsea Gray's 33rd birthday, I want to say, today.
It is her birthday.
It is her birthday. I think it's 33. Just talk about her and the leadership that she's just continuously brought, especially tonight as well, hopefully, for her.
Yeah, she'll bring it tonight. You know, she loves big moments. The good Lord wired her differently from birth. The way she sees the game, her tenacity, her competitiveness, her eyes. She does things as a coach you can't teach. And so, again, you know, I just need her to be her full, authentic self, commanding traffic, organizing us out there. She does a lot of talking on the defensive end, too. She's been mixing it up on that end. So, yeah, I need another birthday dub. We got one for Jewel the other night. Now we get hopefully get one for Chelsea.
Coach, to your right in the front row.
Hi, Coach. Your team has been the most efficient offense in the league after timeouts, both in the regular season and the postseason. Just want to know what kind of goes into that and who have been some of your influences on that front.
Brad Stevens, Pop, obviously, Steve Kerr a little bit, Sandy Brondello, when she coached me in San Antonio, and while I was in the league, some of her stuff that she ran in Phoenix. Those are a lot of them. Defensively, I would say Nick Nurse, you know, he really, I had to scout his teams in the NBA, and they started mucking stuff up, so I really like that, so I got to give him credit for that. You know, we practice it as well, and they know I'm hot if we don't run it right. It's a one time in the game that the team has never seen it, hasn't seen it, hasn't practiced against it, so those are times that we really need to execute. However, it is also a skill set of this team. It's not easy to draw something on the board and have the timing, the right people in the right spot, and execute it in real time. So sometimes I walk them through stuff. You know, I might draw something like this later tonight or whatever, but sometimes it's totally off the cuff and they've never seen it before. So that in itself is a skill set. Not everybody can do that off the board as a player. I've played with lots that can't. And there's certain people, you know, that I know if I draw something, they get it. You know, some of my players may want me to turn the board or put it however you need it, I will put it where you can digest it. But this team, from day one, is locked in on the board.
Coach, third row center.
Hi, Coach. Given the high offensive production from Kalia Copper and Satu Sabali in the first two games, it's likely that the Mercs are going to run through them on offense. So what can you tell me about the defensive adjustments that you guys are making going into Game 3?
Well, hopefully we have a rinse and repeat of quarter two. And when we need to make adjustments, we'll make adjustments. I thought a lot of theirs has come in transition. I think a lot of theirs has come out on missed threes. They're getting daggers. Kaz had a couple. Satu's had a couple. In the half court, I think we've done a fairly good job. It's when they kind of get out and get loose on us in that early in transition phase. So Kaz been a real headache the first half of these games. So we'll pay extra attention to her, hopefully, coming out the gate.
Coach, second row to your right.
Hey, I'm Barry Bloom from Sportico. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Barry.
What's your analysis of the quick rebuild the Mercury did after losing Taurasi and Griner at the end of last season?
They went out and got an MVP candidate. That helps right off top. Once you get a player that caliber, other players want to play with players like that. So then, you got Satu coming in. Kaz been here a minute, So I think it's been a really nice job. I'll tell you this. I think Phoenix did a really nice job going out and getting overseas talent. Akoa Makani, Laxka, Lexi Held, some players that you haven't traditionally seen in the league. I think, Nick and Nate did a really good job just going out and turning over some rocks and bringing in some people that they thought could fit their system, and they were right.
Do you think that this franchise has now built itself into a situation where it's one of the premier franchises and that players are going to want to go to?
I think it is a destination for players, but not just because of Nate and his staff, but I think the investment of the ownership group. You want to come into a practice facility like that. You want to be treated like professionals. You want the highest care. And I think, Phoenix has really stepped forward and done that. So, yeah, I could see this easily. And you guys got a pretty good tax system here, too, so players like that.
Coach, on the last
So
row.
do we in Nevada, by the way.
Last row on the left.
Becky, did you guys show the team any specific video compilation like you did before Game 1 heading into tonight, or even just, the last few days that you had off?
We watched a lot of video, I guess Monday. Yesterday we didn't. We'll watch some more today. I don't have any hype videos. Hopefully we shouldn't need it. If you don't, I think they all understand the moment. Plus the really good ones, you start running out of content. So we gotta keep our media people and our documentary people on their toes. But I know they got some stuff up their sleeve coming up. So, but specifically for tonight, I haven't heard anything.
It's normal film then?
Just normal
Okay.
film on the Phoenix Mercury.
Go to your right.
Returning to what you were saying about timeouts and translating what you're thinking about onto the board, players have mentioned the second board that is sometimes Chelsea's. Curious what it means to have a player in a huddle who can kind of translate in the moment the way she seems to be able to do.
Well, it's super helpful. I mean, she's definitely an extension of me. There's times we'll call the same play at the same time. That happens frequently. There's sometimes if she makes a call and I make a call, I tell them, go with her call first. She's the one out there. There are some times where she might call a play and I might call a play and I might overrule her if I'm adamant about it, but mostly I just let her go. You have a brain like that, you just let it go. You don't try to harness it. You don't try to just let her be her creative self and let her eyes do the work.
Coach, to your left in the fourth row.
Hi, Becky.
Hi.
Something else Chelsea was talking about yesterday at practice was the blind faith that this group has built, and she said it was something that she's started to build with the Aces really since she started being coached by you. So I'm just curious of how long does it take to build blind faith?
Did she say blind faith or blind trust?
pretty sure she said faith.
She said faith?
Pretty sure.
I
I'll
mean,
go
similar-
check the
similar word.
transcript. But just where, I mean, is it hard to build? And I'm not even talking about just this year. I'm sure partly, but
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things, like how much time does it take to just and how do you, yeah, how do you build blind faith or trust in something?
Yeah, I mean, both. I mean, they're both great words. Great words. I love both those words. It's something that takes a while to build up and can be broken in an instant. And I think that's the fragile part of it. I know early on in the season, I had showed them a clip of a Netflix, I think it's called Thunderbirds. And it talks a lot about blind trust in there. And they ended up having a movie night and watching the whole film. And I heard them talking about blind trust. I put them through a little on-court exercise with eggs on the court to build trust. Nobody wants to step on an egg. But having them manage and talk to each other and just have different creative ways of expressing how important it is, but how quickly it can be broken. And I think that trust, it really was exposing itself on both ends of the basketball for us early on. We weren't trusting our defensive rotations were going to be behind us. We weren't trusting we were going to get the ball back if we gave it up early. So we worked hard on that word, and I think you see now they got it, and it's been just, it's something that is, it's not just one linear thing, it's layered, and I think they've really worked hard on building up that trust.
Coach in the back center.
Hi, Becky. Just following up on that, I guess, egg exercise. I guess I'm just curious if you could just explain sort of what that was. Obviously, they didn't, or you didn't want the eggs to break, but how would this work?
It's just something I made up. It's something I made up. I stretched the thing out like this, and I put eggs all over it. And one person was blindfolded at the top, and they had to walk backwards through the egg maze, cued by their teammate. That was it.
Okay, this will be our last question. Coach, all the way in the back to the left.
Hey, Coach, Eli Ofkabai, Sports 360 AZ. I think a lot of basketball fans are just loving the matchup, coaching-wise, between you and Nate Tibbetts. What have you made of that matchup, and how's it been for you going up against him and obviously his first trip to the finals?
I have a lot of respect for Nate. He's, the combination of a great coach, but also a great human being. So it's been a little bit of a chess match going back and forth, and it will continue to be. I know he always makes quality adjustments, gets his players in the right spot. I think all year I think he's done a really great job. You go back to the beginning of this year, this team was pretty banged up, and he rolled with the pieces that he had. He brought in extra pieces, and so to kind of, there's always adversity for every team. They had theirs early on, and in order to keep the ship moving in the right direction, that takes a lot of leadership. It takes a lot of communication and a lot of thought. And I thought he navigated those waters wonderfully to get his team to a position where, now they're playing in the finals. So I know philosophically we have some similarities, the way we see the game, the way we want the game to be played. So it's been fun to go up against him. I consider him, a good friend in the business. And, when he first took the job, we would talk frequently, and I just wanted to help him out. I wanted to have him have such a great experience coming over to the W, and I think he's really enjoyed it.
Coach, thank you.